What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be First Man. Now, this one comes from Universal Pictures and is directed by Damien Chazelle from Whiplash and La La Land fame, where he won his Best Director Oscar for La La Land. So he's on a hot streak. This is his next one, First Man, and it tells the story of Neil Armstrong, played by Ryan Gosling, and just the final, moments and even years leading up to the famous Apollo mission where he took his first steps on the moon and being the first man to do so. So that's basically the story. There's really nothing too different about what I just said. It is basically just the part of his life leading up to that point. Now, going into this movie, I was already excited. I love me some Ryan Gosling. Claire Foy is starting to becoming really noticed on my radar as of late with many projects that she's doing. And, of course, Damien Chazelle, which, I think Whiplash should have won for Best Director. But Whiplash is definitely my favorite one. But La La Land is still a good movie. So I was excited to see whatever this guy does. And the fact that he goes from a jazz music-driven movie to a musical to a biopic, very interesting switch up indeed. But I saw the trailer to it and I was blown away. I was like, this is what an epic biopic is supposed to look like. But I feel like Chazelle is going to take an interesting twist on it and show us more of the family side of Neil Armstrong instead of the spectacle of the actual mission. That's what I got from the trailer, and I saw the movie, and that's exactly what he did. So, Damien Chazelle, to me, for this movie, balanced a lot of different things. If you want to talk about the scope of the movie and what he wanted to focus on, I thought he balanced really well between the two, where he could have easily gone the route of just showing the spectacle of the space flight and the mission and landing on the moon and everything. He does that, and those are some riveting sequences of, the ship actually like taking off, going through the sky and going through space. Visceral filmmaking. But he also focuses more on an intimate side of the story that we probably don't even really know about, which is the family side. How does Neil cope with his wife, and how does he address to his kids that he may not come home? How does he address to his coworkers? How does he feel, around his friends and family? I mean, we don't know that side, and so he took that kind of approach with it, and he balanced between the two. Where yes, this does have some really epic blockbustery moments, but also some really good family drama, angles to this, and I was really just kind of compelled the entire time through these many things that he was balancing, including, fear of the unknown and just bravery and loss and grievances and trying to move on. It's just, there's so many different thematic plot lines that just kind of run through and just strike through this story. It just all comes together into this wonderful woven quilt that Damien Chazelle has sewn together. And so, a part of that quilt is the performances themselves. Ryan Gosling is very good as Neil Armstrong. I would even say that this is probably the first time we've seen Neil portrayed in a movie as vulnerable. This is a guy who's experienced loss, but he's also in a decade, in a time where men are supposed to look strong and, no emotions. I mean, it's the 60s, for crying out loud. So, but there's a lot of vulnerability within this character, where there's a lot of stuff that happens in his life where he breaks down. And I thought that was the right choice, not only on Chazelle's part to showcase that, but also to see Ryan's flexing as an actor, because he could have easily just done a one-note type of character throughout the entire thing, which sometimes he does, where like he's very stern, he's very bold in his dialogue and decision makings as a character. But there are moments where he breaks down and you feel for him. You realize that this guy's human. He's about to attempt one of the craziest things in human history, and he knows the weight that's on his shoulders, and it's getting to him. It's getting to his family, and there's just a lot of range that he kind of pulls out of Gosling, and Gosling portrays that on screen very well. My favorite actually was Claire Foy. She played his wife, and she was terrific in this film. I mean, we start out with, I'm not going to say what the movie starts out with, but it's pretty devastating. And she kind of holds it together. She has her little kind of breakdown moments, but then also as the movie progresses, like, they're about to have another kid, and she's dealing with that, and then she's dealing with the stress of her husband may never come home, and she sees the stress on him, and she tries to comfort the kids. It's the wonderful acting job of being a mom, a wife, and it's kind of amazing to watch, because there's a lot of moments in the movie where she has outbursts at Neil, or she'll have like these sweet, tender moments with Neil, and you feel every second of it. You feel them loving on each other. You feel them fighting with each other. You feel this kind of stress that she's going through, and do you blame her? Like, you're watching the entire thing, and you're like, I'd be scared too if my significant other was about to go into space. This is 1969. They weren't really sure if they could come back. I mean, it's really good stuff, and she is definitely the heartbeat of the movie, without a doubt. And then, of course, the supporting cast around, you have like a Jason Clarke or a Kyle Chandler, and they're all great. I mean, no one really outdoes each other. They are what they are supposed to be, a supporting cast, just a very strong base to prop up Claire Foy and Ryan Gosling. So I mentioned, Damien Chazelle, like, kind of balanced story-wise with the spectacle and the intimacy of the characters, and of course balancing all these themes together. But what he does best, next to the intimacy, like I said, is the spectacle. This is a well-shot movie, and I don't know what type of film they use. I believe they use 35 millimeter. Anyways, and I could be wrong. Please correct me down below. But he uses this visual kind of like muddiness and grittiness to the film, and it makes it look like something that is archived from the 60s. And that is such a nice little touch to kind of just add on top of everything that we're watching, because it makes us look like we're watching old footage, and that really kind of complements the time era. It complements the production design, and the costume design, and just everyone's hairstyles. It looks authentic to the time period. And even with with like the space flight shots, and the interior shots, the outside shots, it's just a gorgeous film. And when you add the film grain on top of that, it just looks so gorgeous. And he really captures that kind of epic scope of what this event is, but it's also just a sheer thing of beauty at the same time. And then it's just really intense with a lot of close-up filmmaking, and you really kind of get inside these cockpits with these astronauts and really feel what they're going through. There's a lot of face shots on Gosling and the other astronauts, and even when back at home on Earth with Claire Foy, it's really, once again, going back to the intimate filmmaking with a lot of close-ups, but also some really beautiful wide shots to really capture the sheer beauty, like I said. I will say that there is kind of a drawback a little bit, because sometimes it's a little too much close-up where, it's edited pretty crisply for the most part, but there's a lot of, shakiness because they want to make it feel authentic, like you're actually in the spaceship. I have no problem with that, but sometimes it can get a bit too much, and that's only because I saw this in IMAX. So the bigger the image is, the more head-inducing it is when you see it kind of go up and down like this. And so that would be literally my only complaint, is that the close-ups got a little too overwhelming on the IMAX screen. It might be fine on the regular screen, but I'm just telling you what I saw. It was a little overbearing, but it wasn't like something that just completely turned me off. It was just something I noticed, and I just wanted to bring it up to you guys. The score is actually just really emotional, and just sweeps you off your feet, and just really adds to every single scene, especially when they're in space and there is no sound in space. So there's a lot of music accompaniment underneath it, and it just props it up to a whole nother level, where Chazelle could have easily just gone completely silent in the space scenes, but the music just makes it kind of prop itself up into like the next level of filmmaking. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this is one of my favorite films of the year. It's definitely cracking the top 5. I would be surprised if anything else could knock it out, but it's definitely top 5. I don't know where yet, but this is a riveting film. It's an emotional film. You get wonderful performances. You get top-notch directing. You get beautiful cinematography. You get crisp editing from a Academy Award winning editor Tom Cross, who edited Whiplash for Damien Chazelle, who he also won for that movie. And then, of course, the music is just great. I mean, this is one of these movies where you walk out and you go, this is why I like going to the movies. This is why movies are made. And just real quick, let me comment on the flag controversy for a second. There is no controversy. There is no controversy. There are flags all over the astronaut suits. The flag is on the moon. Yes, you don't really physically see someone stick it into the moon, but they still show it on the moon. So what is everyone complaining about? This movie is super patriotic, by the way. If it were any more patriotic, Ryan Gosling could have shotgunned a Pabst Blue Ribbon before he went on to the Apollo flight, and I would have been like, well, that's in line with the patriotism for this movie. This movie is reeking of America is the best. America will be there and beat everyone. We are the best country ever. It reeks of that. So I don't know where the controversy comes from with it being unpatriotic. So if anyone has that argument, don't listen to them. I'm telling you right now, there's nothing of that. It is one of the most patriotic movies I've seen in a while. But it's done with such balance and ease that you don't really, that doesn't bother you. You just watch it because it's just a good movie. So I'm going to give First Man a solid A. It's one of the best of the year. Go see it. And I can't believe Damien Chazelle has done 3 movies, and all 3 are great. And he's only 35. I'm going to cue the sad music right now for self-pity, because that's just ridiculous. He's around my age. It's ridiculous. But no, but to be honest with you, it does impress me when people there are like on their second and third movie are just crushing it, and he definitely crushes with First Man. So what about you guys? Have you seen First Man, or have you even heard of it? Comment that place right below my face and let me know. And as always, guys, I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.